Let all cats old enough to catch their own prey gather here beneath the tall rock for a clan meeting.
Mew, I'm Simon.
And I'm Evelyn,
And I'm Australia.
and today we're going to be discussing Tallstar's Revenge, chapters 32, 33, and 34.
While we do so, we'll be adhering to our spoiler policy, which is.
Spoilers are fun.
So, yeah, that's it.
Yay!
So, any follow up from last time?
I don't honestly remember at all what happened last time.
Yeah, it's been like 4 months. But, okay. For fandom news, I thought we would just talk about what books are coming out now. So, Thunder's already been released. I haven't read it yet. And Wind is available for pre order.
Wind! Wind!
Who's to say? There have been more special editions, right?
River Star's Home is happening.
I think when we started this, Gray Stripe's Vow was like coming out.
Yes. And since then, there's Leopard Star's Honor, One Star's Confession, and River Star's Home that are all happening.
I don't like One Star's Confession, but I kind of feel like we might have talked about that already. We also just can't. I have to stop getting on the covers because they're just all bad.
They're pretty bad.
I hate
Why
the
are-
ears.
Yes, it's the ears. Why are they all so like distressed or just whatever that
They're
emotion
all
is?
pointed back.
All very angular, yeah. Except for Bramble Star's Storm.
Bramble
Looks
Star's
so
ears,
different.
he looks like bear ears. And Squirrel Flight's ears also look really big and triangular.
They are big.
Oh, I love Blue Star's Prophecy.
Yeah, back
That's
when
the
they were
best
still
one.
good.
What a beautiful cat.
Gorgeous.
But even
Questionable choices, but
Yeah,
gorgeous, gorgeous
yeah.
woman.
Firestar's Quest here too, though. Like that looks like a little kit.
I mean, also, that's also just not totally accurate. It looks so green.
Yeah, why is it so green?
That book is gold. Own it.
Maybe it's different now. I don't know.
It's so golden.
It does look.
No, I made it a horrible lime green.
Yeah, that would be weird. Well, yeah, books coming out. Exciting times in the fandom, which we're all keeping very up to date on.
Uh-huh, for sure.
All right, who wants to read the quote of the week?
I will. I don't feel like I've read one in a while. Cloudtail fluffed out his fur. At least we don't have to pay much attention to the River Clan border now that they've cut themselves off. Cloudtail, on ThunderClan patrolling their non-existent border with River Clan. Darkest Night, Chapter 5.
Yeah, I was reading that book and they were talking like RiverClan was like closing themselves off, and Cloudtail said that their border is like over the lake. They don't have a border. There's no border.
Yeah, they don't share a border with ThunderClan.
No, not at all. Likely thing for Cloudtail to say. Guess we're ready to discuss chapter 32. The summary of which is Talltail and Jake visited Jay in order to get information about the rogues, and then they continue walking until it gets dark.
What about the Cliff Notes?
Yeah, the Cliff Notes. It's kind of weird that there's Jake and Jay.
Hated it. I was so confused because, I mean, I think it's not as bad if you actually read this book in order. I don't remember it being a problem when I read it in like a normal way, but not having read it at all for a very long time, I was very confused.
Chapter 32, Cliff Notes. The rogues take Talltail and Jake to see Jay. Red is among the new rogues. Jay is initially annoyed, but Talltail manages to win her over. Jake helps break off a piece of food Jay can eat.
That was so sweet.
It was.
Talltail interrogates Jay about the Greenleaf Rogues. She informs him that the Greenleaf Rogues were there last moon.
Talltail and Jake leave the rogues. Jake steals another kitty pet's food while Talltail hunts.
Talltail and Jake bed down for the night.
They sure do.
And Talltail thinks that he will soon have his revenge. They really like this phrase greenleaf rogues.
I like it too. So my first note is uh they've just met Jay and we're like being introduced to Jay as this sort of old cat. But it specifically says that she has a yellowing tail. And is that a thing?
Yeah, she has a graying muzzle and a yellowing tail.
Well, yeah, they get gray certainly, but like they don't turn yellow.
Maybe she's peeing a little.
But why aren't they cleaning her?
Ew, would you want to lick that?
No, but I'm not a cat. That's what they do. Put it in a puddle. It shouldn't be yellowing.
It's like parchment. It yellows
Yeah,
with
like
age.
that happens to not fur.
Yeah, I think it's just poor hygiene.
Yeah.
It's just like she has friends. I guess they won't
Yeah.
tear apart her food for her either. They're just gonna
They're
let her
not
have her pea
friends.
tail forever.
There's like a big group of these cats here,
I
though.
know, bring her some moss with
Yeah.
water. Something. Yeah, he guessed she'd been white once. It just feels so sad. Why is her tail yellow? There's also another instance of yellow cats, which exist in these books only.
Oh, that's true. You got another yellow cat earlier.
Yeah, they're not yellow. What planet are you from?
Yeah, conditions are not great for these city cats. At least she did get a bird, though. She's trying to eat a bird.
Hmm. Nobody helps her. Just like watching this like elder that they seem to kind of revere in some manner. And she just like can't eat. And she's yellow and they just don't care.
It's very strange.
Oh. Well, do we have anything else to say about their conversation here? There's a lot that they talk about, but it's kind of boring.
It is. It's like important for where they're going, but also not really. I feel like my honestly biggest takeaway from these three chapters is like there's just so much gay shit going on.
Yeah, in all of the chapters.
All three of them, I was like, this is some
That's really where it's all happening, yeah.
Because
um
nothing else happens. It's just like
no,
Telltale and
it's just
Jake
like this
hanging out together.
and sleeping together and this really weird flirting. There's this moment um where is it Telltale says to Jay that Jake likes clan cats?
He
That's
likes
all.
them.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Jay knows a cat who liked clan cat. It just feels very like just coded. All of it is really Jake's got a type and it's clan cats.
Yeah. Who is this other cat who likes clan cats?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. Are we supposed to know who that is or figure that out?
Hmm. If so, I just don't know.
No, I have such a hard time with the timelines of things.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, they do find out that the Greenleaf Rogues were in the city like a month or two ago, so they're sort of on the right track.
It is interesting to me how difficult it is to get this information because it does not matter to these other cats to tell them this. This
Yeah.
is, there's nothing against that. If they would just tell them, yeah, they were here about a moon ago, they went that way, these other cats would be gone. They would leave them alone and everything would be fine. Why do they have to like ease this information out of them and like soften them up? This is not hurting them to tell them this.
What do you think, Evelyn?
I think that brown is also a strange color for a cat.
Yeah.
That's true.
I've seen a brown cat, but it's definitely not common.
It's usually just that there's part of it that's brown.
So Jay is an elder.
Yeah.
Poor Jay.
Yeah, I mean, she's yellow and she
She
has
can't.
no teeth.
She has no teeth.
The
Yeah.
old she-cat pulled at the flesh with her gums, tearing a fresh morsel away and began chewing.
Yeah, I hated that sentence.
After Jake picks out the meat for her. And apparently, so she's saying that, the Greenleaf rogues with house cat names, mind you, which I never really thought of, but that's true.
Hmm.
So were they all kitty pets and then no longer? They do seem awfully different from these rogues in the city.
Hmm. It's also like right up here. They mentioned that they let this whole like squad of rogues and they let them each take one piece of prey. But they won't even tell these two cats information. Like they don't want anything from them. Just tell them. Marmalade.
Yeah, marmalade bread.
Also, why do they have to go to this elder? Maybe that this was explained more in the chapter that I don't remember before this, but like Marmalade and Red were there. No? Why don't they know? This isn't some elder knowledge from years past. It's last month. You were there. You caught the prey. I'm certain.
Mhm.
I don't think Jay did it. She don't have no teeth.
Yeah, I guess the writers just like wanted this dramatic scene with this group of city rogues. It's really not necessary. But they leave. That thing's over. Then,
Then we get like a whole chunk of just flap talk.
yeah.
I mean, a small flap, like the one where he lived. It just, they're going in.
Telltale stared.
Yeah,
Oh
at
God.
Jake's flap that he explodes out of, and yeah, he says, "Come and get some" from the flap, and it just there's a lot going on here, and I don't know. I don't know what's happening, and I don't like it. And they don't come up with another word ever. It's just a flap, and it's almost always Jake's. And just why? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that?
Yeah, why are they doing that? Seriously. That is so
I mean,
crazy.
what else would you call it though? The cat door. The cat door.
I don't
Or
know. Yeah, what would the cats in the universe call it?
I mean, what else is a flap? Like, why do they? Why flap? Why is that the thing that they have?
Yeah, I mean, it could be opening, could be hole.
A hole
Those
would
are
be
both,
worse.
yeah. I mean, door.
flap
But
is the most descriptive name
yeah, but
word for it.
what else are the clan cats? When are they encountering flaps?
But they know what a flap is.
Why?
They know all kinds of words.
Yeah, like why flap though?
I guess birds. They flap
Flap
their
their
wings.
wings.
You guys are making too big a deal out of
No, it's bad, and I won't stand for it. He
Uh,
says, "Come and get some," while his head's pumped down with flap. I don't like it.
yeah. And like, what's actually happening here is Jake is just stealing somebody else's food.
Breaking and entering.
Another cat lives there, and he just goes inside and eats their food.
He says there's always more
How do you get away with that?
by being nice.
Yeah, she must be asleep upstairs or out.
Hmm. How many people ever have other random cats walk into their house and eat their food? It's really funny. Talltail catches a shrew instead.
Um, but yeah, the shrew's paws scrabbled on the leaf litter, but Telltale was quick and pinned its tail. Hooking it close, he killed it with a bite. He gulped it down and patted onto the moonlit grass, trying to prove himself. He just swallows it whole.
They can do it fast. Cause I saw Tabby the other day, and Tabby had a mouse or something in her mouth, and then when she saw me, she dropped the mouse, and then came running over to me, and then I was just like trying to ignore her and walk by, and then about 5 or 10 seconds later, she was following me again, but the mouse was no longer on the ground.
So she ate it.
She ate it like really fast.
I know they can, but there's just so many things of like the cat's like tearing into mice and eating the specific parts of the mice. He
Hmm.
just swallowed it. He just swallowed he doesn't even bite it in half. He kills the shrew and he swallows it whole.
Well, I've always thought of a shrew as a kind of small one.
Yeah, well, how big was... I guess you said Tabby caught... It might have just been a mouse.
About that big.
About like 3 or 4 inches.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, Lucy ate a mouse in 13 seconds.
It's
Yeah,
not
true.
13 seconds, he swallows it.
He gulped it down.
He gulped it down.
Put it down. Maybe sometimes when they're eating it slowly, they're just savoring the delicious parts.
Ooh.
I mean, he doesn't answer the question, was it tasty? And I think it's because he doesn't actually know, because he
Yeah,
just swallowed it
they're not
whole.
gonna taste much like a snake.
Yeah. I also forgot he'd been poisoned, and then they talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I had forgotten he was
Took me a
poisoned
moment.
too.
Don't think a whole shrew is going to be good for your tummy.
Yeah. So Jake ends up staying with Talltail another night here, and Talltail is actually pretty happy about that. He
Mm-hmm.
thinks he'd be gone tomorrow, but then another pang bit his belly.
Mm-hmm.
Reminded me of the rat poisoning.
Yeah, it's like he's, getting feelings for Jake, or he's getting poisoned again, but
And
he ignored it.
they have this little bickering about where they're going to sleep.
They make a hollow.
We'll make better nests tomorrow. Why had he said that? Jake would be going home at dawn.
Hmm.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, then at the end of this long sort of thing where nothing's happening except some gay shit, his final thought is, and soon, very soon, he would take his revenge. Which kind of comes out of nowhere. It's
Yeah.
not really what we're talking about like the whole time.
It really doesn't vibe with the rest of the chapter. Well, we'll be on to the next chapter now.
The summary is nothing really long.
Yeah,
I kind of
nothing happened.
agree.
Chapter 33, Cliff Notes. Talltail and Jake wake up and head to a hill to check for scents. Jake struggles going up the hill, but Talltail is surprised by the kitty pet's determination.
They spot a wooded area where the rogues could possibly be sheltering. They encounter a fox. Wait, no, I wasn't supposed to read that.
You weren't.
I'm
They
sorry.
encounter a fox. Jake is scared, but Talltail reassures him, and they ultimately go unnoticed.
Talltail starts to explain who and why the clans fight, but stops when the topic of Sandgorse comes up.
Talltail notices that he's less energetic than the kitty pet. Jake offers to hunt. Talltail is skeptical at first, but Jake ultimately succeeds in catching prey.
The two Toms share the mouse. Jake suggests looking for a place to rest for the night, but Talltail is determined to catch up with the rogues. Not the Greenleaf rogues this time. However, Jake suggests that the rogues won't go fast, and Talltail agrees they should get some rest.
The warrior and the kitty pet prepare a nest for the night, and Talltail slips into a dream. In the dream, Talltail is inside the gorge tunnel. He sees Sparrow, but Sandgorse is not with Sparrow. Suddenly, Talltail is alone in the dark and mud pooling around him, and he hears Sandgorse calling his name.
Talltail is awoken by Jake and is initially annoyed, but then Jake points out a cat scent near a beech trunk. Talltail gives it a sniff and exclaims that they're on the right trail of the rogues.
So a whole day passes then, because they went to sleep last chapter, then they wake up and they go to sleep again. Where were they going this whole time? So yeah, I don't think we really have a lot to talk about at all. Like here's a whole page with no notes.
Yeah, there is some sort of mouse or something that's eating a berry. That
Yeah, there
confused me
is.
because it's winter-ish time. I know there's sharp frost that has hardened the earth and whitened the meadows.
Hmm.
I'm like, what berry is this
I
mouse
don't know why
eating?
the cats didn't die. I don't get how cats don't die in the cold.
I know. Hmm.
Maybe it was a wintergreen fairy.
Telltale gets snatched by the cold air.
They're climbing up a hill. It's kind of like Lookout Hill at Wingsand.
He experiences another pang, this time of disappointment.
Yeah. And then there's the thing with the fox, but they don't really ever have to hide. It's all fine.
Telltale also, I feel like, is kind of being rude to Jake in a way that feels like he's like being mean to him because he's about to leave a little bit
Yeah.
in the beginning of this.
I feel
Just
that way
kind of like
too.
give him the cold shoulder because he's abandoning him for his soft kitty pet life.
Hmm. So many emotions bubbling under the surface.
Hmm. I don't really understand how they just get away with this fox thing. They just kind of like, I feel like foxes are usually such a big deal. This is like the one time where it's just like, ah, the fox is right there.
Yeah.
Just chill
Then
out.
next time, next chapter, there's another one.
So talking about the borders between the clans, because Telltale has offered to teach Jake how to fight for with no ulterior motive. He doesn't want to wrestle on the ground with him at all. It's totally normal and just bros. Calm down. Um, Jake asks who he's fighting, and Telltale says Shadow Clan and River Clan mostly. We share borders with them. And Jake says, like fighting over fences. Telltale's pelt ruffled. It's more important than that. It is not more important than that.
It's exactly like fighting
It
over
is
fences.
quite literally fighting over fences. He says we're not just being selfish over a patch of ground. We're fighting for our clan's survival. Or Troyer would die to save his clan. Um, and then Jake says, "Is that why you're out here risking your life to save your clan?" Telltale hurried ahead, grasp, brushing his pelt. I'm avenging my father. Jake says, "How will that help your clan?" Fucking wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's such a good, everything about it is just like, no, it's not. None of this
Yeah.
is right. You're being ridiculous.
And Telltale's, says that my clan had nothing to do with this. But then Jake is like, well, it has to. You're a warrior. Like, you're part of the clan. And then Telltale is kind of confused now. And he also, like, has this kind of vision. He sees Sandgorse in his mind.
You look ruffled. I guess I'm still weak from the poison.
But then they they kind of get over that, and now they're having a good time hunting.
And
And
it's kind of flirty.
it is. They have such a dynamic. And Telltale helps Jake catch a mouse. The mouse was sitting under a branch grasping a berry. I would really like to know what the berry was.
Mm-hmm. Some sort of winterberry in England.
Yeah. I don't know, like, what berries are there that are edible to humans? Maybe it's something that a mouse can eat, but a human can't.
But yeah, Telltale like helps Jake catch the mouse. And like it's very nice. It's very
Bite
cute.
its spine, Telltale call.
Yeah.
Not so nice for the mouse.
No.
And then they eventually end up sharing the mouse, but they're kind of going back and forth first.
This is kind of what I mean though. This mouse is big enough that they can share.
Mm,
Yet he swallowed that shrew whole.
it's true. Shrew is not that small compared to a mouse. Maybe it was an infant shrew.
It did not say that. I also don't know much about shrews. I don't think they have their babes in the wintertime.
Mm, I don't know.
Seems silly. But yeah, they like pass the mouse back and forth. He nudged the carcass towards Telltale,
Right.
who we also learned is still feeling really weak from the poison that I had forgotten about.
Yeah, because they travel a little bit more, but then Telltale's kind of too tired, so then they rest for the night.
It was a very short day.
It was. Where did all the time go? That's what I'm wondering here.
Yeah, what are they doing in this downtime that we're not getting
Yeah.
anything? What's going on?
But yeah, kind of like last time, they find a hollow, and then Telltale is just in there because he's so tired, and so Jake gets some leaves and feathers for the nest. And then he also goes out again and gets some sheep's wool, which was apparently just there for him to get, which is very convenient.
Mm-hmm. But then yeah, he's just being very like caring, and it's just like, oh, are you cold? I'll get you this. Oh, are you uncomfortable? I'll get you this. Um, and says uh, that he won't be long, and that he'll be back soon.
Yeah, it's very caring.
And then he has this lame dream about his dad.
Yeah, boring. Who cares?
Gross. Nobody likes you when you're dead dad revenge.
What do you have to say, Evelyn?
Nothing.
Okay. My last note is, oh, and then they smell the rogues, greenleaf rogues, on the sheep's wool. Right? That's where it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but we get another worm mention because Telltale has worms.
In his belly.
Yes, this time it is a worm of excitement stirring in his belly. But he has so many worms.
There's so many different worms in him. He needs to go to the cutter.
Yeah.
But they're really catching up to the rogues because they're gonna find them next chapter.
Mm-hmm.
The rogues must be just really taking their time, staying in places for a while. Because they didn't actually travel that much. Anything else for chapter 33?
Hashtag worms. Chapter 34. Nothing unusual. Fox. Monsters. Found the rogues at the end.
Here's the cliff notes. It is the next day, and Talltail hurriedly rushes to get another sniff of the scents. Another sniff of the scents. He is confident this time that it's the rogues, and he smells Sparrow, Rena, and Bess.
Talltail asks Jake if the kitty pet is going to go home. Jake states that he can't leave Talltail to face Jake alone. What?
These clip notes are messed up. Telltale and Jake follow the scent trail through the woods.
Jake facing Jake.
Jake states he can't leave Talltail to face Jake alone. You literally can't because then he couldn't face Jake alone. What? Okay, sorry. Keep going.
The two Toms are attacked by a fox but manage to ward it off.
Talltail gets a scratch and his legs ache, but Jake is able to find Doc and they continue.
The warrior smells the rogue's scent again. This time he can smell Algernon? Is that how we say her name? His? I don't remember. And Mole as well.
The two traveling Toms encounter grass cutters. Talltail and Jake are splattered by mud, but otherwise fine.
Algernon glares down at the two Toms and scolds them for not running.
Rena rushes down the slope and is very surprised when she sees Talltail. I read this last night, this chapter, while I was falling asleep. I fell asleep several times. I don't remember most of this. I did not remember the net the rest of the rogues in this chapter. I thought to myself, I don't know, probably the next chapter. So yeah, I know I made a note somewhere in here, and I remembered the grass cutter because that was terrifying to me and confusing. What were those beasts? I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, the rogue's appearance is very abrupt.
Chapter 34. Talltail woke in the wool-lined hollow between the oak roots. He could feel Jake breathing beside him, his pelt warm where their fur touched. He lifted his head, tasting the air. The icy chill had gone, replaced by dampness. The musty aroma of dying leaves flooded the nest. Jake. Talltail nudged
Okay.
it.
Reading the whole chapter?
Well, I can stop.
Yes, it's not an audiobook.
It would be
Well,
better
get
as
in
an
trouble.
audiobook.
The Aaron's will hunt us.
The mouse and the shrimp. But yeah,
What they do best.
they like once again the chapter starts with them waking up together, and this time it's like even more like domestic. Like there
Mm-hmm.
they are sleeping together, warming each other.
Yes, and he just like gently nudges him awake, calls his name. It's very nice.
Yeah. But now it's a little bit warmer and they can smell the scents better. So they're following the trail.
Jake caught up. I can only smell trees and leaves. He stuck out his tongue. There are so many new scents out here. It's hard to tell them apart.
There was a lot of tasting smells in these 3 chapters as well. That was the other prominent thing. And I almost made a note on it every time, and I just never did. But it's a lot. A lot
There
of
it is.
tasting. A lot of open mouths. If anybody smells anything, assume that their mouth is wide open.
And then Jake again is not leaving, but he's still sticking with Talltail.
No, but can't you smell their trail? Jake caught up. I can only smell trees and leaves. He stuck out his tongue.
Yeah.
There are so many new scents out here, it's hard to tell them apart. I presumably, while his tongue is still stuck out, there are so many new things out here.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Jake is very boyfriendish because he's like sticking with Tall Tale, but he's also like, I won't put my whiskers where they don't belong. Like
Well,
cause he, cause he clearly. I can't say anything.
No, keep talking.
Cause he's like obviously thinks it's stupid that Jake is seeking revenge on this rogue.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a really good where like he's simultaneously really supportive, also often questions him
yeah, that is very good.
and his motives and things.
Then Jake goes the wrong way. Be redirected.
I mean, how are you supposed to know which way to follow the trail?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he can't even taste anything. He put his tongue out.
yeah. Okay, well, there's more of the scenting and the fox happens.
The fox was really uninteresting.
It was like the most boring fox fight I've ever seen. Jake or Talltail has a scratch, and then Jake gets some dock, which he just knows about. He knows what it is, but he doesn't know that you have to chew it. He thinks maybe you just wrap it around your paw, but no, you have to chew it to get the healing juices.
It will stop the wound from going bad.
Jake waited
Ew.
till Talltail had used up all of the leaf. And then I also wonder like how much is he gonna stick on? And how much is gonna fall off when they're walking?
Hmm.
But I don't think we hear about that. Because right after this, then we get the grass cutting.
Also, a heavy shower might wash it away. I know it means like a rain shower, like a storm,
Mm,
but just it just sounds like a shower.
it does.
There's no ambiguity that specifically means outside weather.
So yeah, there's a lot. This part with the grass cutting and the rogues, I feel like it happens really suddenly, and I didn't get a clear picture of what's actually going on all
No, and
the
it
time.
feels like it goes from 0 to 100. Like they start to hear a noise, and then all of a sudden there's like things coming at them. Um, but yeah, Talltale doesn't have any idea what a grass cutter is, which would be a lawnmower. Um, Jake says the two legs use them to shave the grass. D- What would be their shaving? They don't know about shaving. What does he mean shave the grass?
Well, they know English. They know words like flap and shave.
They also
Right,
know
but they're
words like
usually
cut.
only supposed to know words that like are relevant to their lives. Shave in that kind of context.
It would
I thought about it for a
just
while.
say cut the grass, which is what humans would say and what
Yeah, it's just like
the warriors would say anyways.
sometimes the kitty pets have different language because they clearly somehow sometimes seem to understand what the two legs say, which doesn't quite make sense because they also kind of seem to just hear them as like the wah 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 peanut characters kind of vibe. But then sometimes they know their words. But still, yeah, nobody says shave the grass. That's not a thing. And I've never seen shave, I feel like, in any context in any other Warriors book.
Well, I like it because it describes that you're not just cutting the grass randomly, you're cutting it all the same length.
Yeah, but they don't know about that because they don't do that because they're cats.
Yeah, I don't know.
So now there's like three large machines. So I don't yeah, I couldn't tell exactly what they were, but three huge shapes were speeding over the rise, bouncing over the churned grass toward them.
Hmm.
Each ran on two black spinning paws that threw up mud and a wave behind them. So there's some sort of a tractor, but I can't tell like what they're doing.
Neither can I. And also,
They're so
tractors
big.
go
Why are there three
slow.
of
The
them?
grass had been churned into wide circles of mud as though huge claws had reached down and raked it.
Yeah,
I
what is
also
it
thought, like, are
doing?
they like
That's not a grass
four-wheelers? Like,
cutter.
are they just having fun on some four-wheelers? But why would they be described as so big? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's usually pretty clear what the monsters are and what it is they're doing. I have no fucking idea what's happening.
Maybe they're gonna build a new house there.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they're just
Why
doing
are there
construction.
three of them? Why are they going so quickly?
But then they get like really close.
Yeah, bouncing over the turned grass. So like it's not just like within the context of the cats, like what their concept of speed is. They're bouncing over the grass. These things are flying. The tractor doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, each ran on two black spinning paws. Two.
I'm
Like these are little
confused.
segways? What is
Yeah.
this? What are these? Aaron, I need answers.
It's so confusing. But
Sound off on the comments if
yeah,
you have any idea what these monsters are, because it is the only thing I remember from this chapter last night.
maybe our two UK listeners have an idea.
Oh, we have two UK listeners?
I don't know.
Oh, well, UK listeners especially, much love, and please tell us what these beasts are, because they feel like monsters to me in a way that a lot of the other things usually don't.
Yeah. But the monsters were lurching away, heading downslope until they disappeared around the corner of the trees. So they're safe. They almost got hit, but they're good.
Okay, it really is just the very, very end where the rogues are here, so I don't feel as bad remembering it. I was still in the whirlwind that was those monsters.
Yeah. But they got called Crowbrain suddenly, and Telltale recognizes the creamy brown pelt of Algernon.
You just stood there like lumps of wood.
Lumps of wood. And then, yeah, Rena recognizes Tallpaw, who is actually Telltale now.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, short episode. Not too much to really get into in these chapters. So, we're done. What was your favorite and least favorite parts of the episode?
I always forget to keep track of that.
Yeah, I know.
My favorite was just all of the weird domestic gay shit that I don't understand what the purpose of this is, Aaron. If that's not what you're doing this for, what were these three chapters? What was this?
It's gotta be intentional, really, reading these. Like, yeah.
So that's my favorite part, honestly, even though I feel like I sound a little mad about it. My least favorite is what the fuck are those monsters? I don't understand it. This makes no sense. What are they? What's going on? No.
Hmm.
Those are pretty good choices. My favorite's probably about the same. It's nice, like, they're not in any immediate danger. They're just hanging out and, whatever. And then my least favorite, also the last chapter, what with the fox and the monsters, like, so typical, so annoying, so boring. Just can't stand that. That always happens on these trips. It's like, yeah.
Always happens. Yeah, there's always something. I think my favorite part was the mouse with the berry, and my least favorite part was the whole gang of rogues, which I found inane.
Yeah.
All right, well, stay tuned for the next episode, which should hopefully be out sooner than the previous gap. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.